Now we're moving on to our general session, okay? So with the adjournment of the 2000 Board of Directors meeting, I'd like to begin this evening's general session. Our first guest that we have with us tonight is Charlie Beaulieu, the President of Golf Canada. Charlie, the involvement with Golf Canada began as Golf Quebec Provincial Council rep in 2009. He served as chair of the membership committee in 2011 and 2012, governance committee from 2015 to 2018, and compensation committee in 2018 and in 2019. The former president of the Fédération Québécoise de Golf, he chaired the special task force, which led to the amalgamation of the Fédération Québécoise de Golf and Golf Québec. Charlie has served as captain of both the Lorraine and Le Marge golf clubs and is now currently serving his second term as president of Golf Canada. Annually, his family and friends host a golf tournament in memory of his late father, with funds raised from that event exceeding $1,200,000 and support local charities. We'd like to thank Charlie for joining us this evening, and without further delay, I'll pass the microphone over to Charlie. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. First of all, thank you, Judy and Tyson, for sending an invitation, to participate this evening at Golf New Brunswick Spring Board of Directors meeting. On behalf of the Golf Canada Board of Directors, I wish to express our sincere appreciations for the outstanding support that Golf New Brunswick brings to Golf Canada. It is important to continue to communicate, to collaborate, to reach consensus when needed, especially during these difficult times in dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. We place great value in the relationship with Golf New Brunswick. Earlier this year, I was anticipating coming to Riverside Country Club for our first Golf Canada Board of Directors sessions in 2020, seen and meeting with all of you, but the pandemic situations called for a different scenario at the end of April. I still wish to thank Jason Porter for the invitation, Allison and Jeff for your support, and I hope that we will be able to join you and see all of you in person in the near future. I want to express special thanks to Tom, Mike, Shane, Charlie, and Margot for the outstanding work that they've done for Golf New Brunswick. We need volunteers to contribute, and your work is greatly appreciated. As of last week, I'm so pleased that golf is now back to being played, not only in New Brunswick, but everywhere across the country, and especially in Quebec with this situation. I want to congratulate President Judy, Executive Director Tyson, the Board of Directors, volunteers, and industry partners at Golf New Brunswick for the outstanding work done to opening golf in the province in a safe environment, where the golf course's precautions have been developed, taking in considerations the health and the safety of all golfers, employees, and communities where you live, you play, and you work. Your dedicated effort are important for Golf in New Brunswick and for Golf in Canada as well. But the virus continues to have an impact on the golf community. Owners, operators, PGF Canada members, club managers, superintendents, and all stakeholders. At Golf Canada and at our provincial partners, we continue to feel the impact. Important and courageous decisions must be made during these difficult times. Golf Canada is no different. Unfortunately, the RBC Canadian Open had to be canceled for the first time since the World War II in 1943-1944. The National Open was founded in 1904, and it was also canceled during the First World War. And now there is this war against the COVID-19 pandemic. We managed to keep the board connected very closely with our CEO, Lawrence, and the executive team. A strong link of communication have been established throughout the crisis with the creations of a weekly board update to better transmit the flow of information to the board. It is crucial to keep the board, our volunteers, and our stakeholders well informed of the constantly evolving situations with this major crisis across the country. As you know, at the recent Golf Canada EGM held in Toronto at the end of February, it was stated that the board has approved motions to change the size of the board from a fixed number of 11 to a range of between 8 to 13 directors, and to welcome 2 new directors from the Canadian golf industry. You received on May 7 a notice of meeting sent to all Golf Canada voting members to participate at this special meeting to be held electronically on May 28 to approve these motions and to move forward with the creations of a Golf Industry Advisory Council. By staying united and working all together, we are stronger to facing the challenges and take advantage of opportunities generated by this pandemic period. Thanks to the nature of our sport, golf is now well positioned to emerge and thrive. It is a huge opportunity to engage with a new generations of golfers. Our sport can provide the safe environment that people is looking for and is needing. I hope that we all go back to a more normal life very soon and will continue to enjoy the sport that we are all so passionate about. All the best, and I hope that you and your family stay safe and will have the opportunity to enjoy a long and healthy golf season. Thank you again for the invitations, and thank you all for your attention.
There will be an opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. There will be an opportunity to ask questions if you want of Charlie after our second speaker as well. So at this time, I would like to ask Alison Chisholm, Golf New Brunswick Course Rating and Handicap Chair, Golf New Brunswick past President, and current Director at Large of the Golf Canada Board of Directors, to introduce our next guest speaker. Alison, please. Still muted.
Thank you again, Judy. And I'm very happy to introduce our next guest, Lawrence Applebaum, the Chief Executive Officer of Golf Canada. With a sports management career spanning nearly 25 years in Canada, Europe, and the US, Lawrence proudly returned home when he was named Chief Executive Officer of Golf Canada in July of 2017. In his role as CEO, Lawrence oversees the executive management and strategic direction of Golf Canada and has been instrumental in the continued growth of the CP Women's Open and the reinvigoration of the RBC Canadian Open. Lawrence also represents Golf Canada on numerous committees and advisory councils, including the Golf Canada Foundation, the National Golf Foundation, the International Golf and Health Initiative, the PGA Tour's President's Cup, the Canadian Olympic Committee, and We Are Golf, comprising the leadership of the Canadian golf industry. The Toronto native previously served as Executive Vice President of the Women's Tennis Association and has held a variety of progressively senior roles at Wilson Sports and Nike Golf Canada. We would like to thank Lawrence for joining us this evening, and certainly he does have a New Brunswick connection, so we're always very proud to say that as well. So I would certainly be very proud to pass the microphone over to Lawrence.
Thank you. Thank you. I was really looking forward to this evening, and to get an introduction from Alison Chisholm is just the topper of a Tuesday evening. So greetings to all my friends and family in New Brunswick. It is really nice to see all of you here. I'm going to talk to you about a few things, and most importantly, I think the people who are winning in this COVID-19. We are all enduring so much, but I think there's many people on this call and in the golf business who are truly winning. And I first want to start by thanking and recognizing Judy. Judy, in many respects, taking over last year and then in shepherding Golf New Brunswick in the role of president. And as a first responder, I will say, Judy, it is really, you're part of a women's movement in golf in Canada. And the fact that you are also doing this incredible work, I think we all owe you a debt of gratitude, Judy. Thank you very much for everything that you are doing for us.
Thank you.
And on all these calls, you learn something new. I asked somebody how to pronounce Judy's last name properly, and someone said, it's just like Rick Astley. It's Judy Astley. And then she introduces herself as Judy Astle. So you learn something new every time. So thank you, Judy. To the entire board, I thank you for the invite to bring Charlie, myself, and I know I'm just a warm up for Lyndon because it's wonderful to have him speak as well. But to the whole board who are returning and the board who have served, it's a great honor. Another person who's clearly winning is Jason Porter. Anyone who can dress like that on Tuesday night in Riverside, of no less, is a wonder. So thank you, Jason. And Charlie had to get on the phone tonight because we were supposed to be in Riverside for our board meeting. He was looking forward to playing that golf course, and we are committed to returning one day. So on behalf of our whole board and our whole organization. Another person who's winning is your executive director, Tyson Flynn. Nobody has looked better through a crisis than Tyson. You know, sometimes I look at him, he was more 3-wood before, and now he's more 2-iron. He really looks great. He is performing admirably, and I've lost him in my screen, so I don't know if I'm getting a smile or daggers being pointed at me. I'm there, okay, sort of half and half, I would say. But I've lost the bet, and he now has lost more weight than me, so I will be wearing sandals at our next meeting, okay? Thank you as well to the whole golf province of New Brunswick. You're winning. Being one of the first provinces to open, to do it responsibly, to do it admirably, and to be leaning in has been a leadership position. So thank you for providing that leadership, even though there was still snow on the ground in many places, to open as you've done, to get such positive recommendations, and leadership has been wonderful. I'll also speak to the leadership and winningness of all of Atlantic Canada. Through the We Are Golf or NAGA partnership, the Alliance of Golf Associations in the Atlantic provinces, of which a lot of leadership can be attributed directly to Lyndon Guerin and our executive director, Tyson Flynn. Also being honored to be included as having Jeff Hutt as our Golf Canada representative. You've showed us that the alliances and the partnership that we have at these crisis moments has been very important. The Atlantic provinces have come together, so thank you for providing that winning. I also want to talk to you about the moment we have in golf. The moment we have in golf right now, we are open. We are open with good protocol. We are a sport of protocol. We are a sport of rules. And people can, with good conscience, tell their spouse, their partner, their kids, their colleague to go play golf. If you haven't been playing, you can now play. If you never played, we welcome you. And those who play a little, play more. And those who play a lot, play even more. So golf is a rare opportunity for the sport to thrive. We are figuring out this new environment with COVID-19. People need the physical rehabilitation. They need the mental rehabilitation. Please continue to use this opportunity as a silver lining of this crisis to come play golf. 2 business items I wanted to address. The first is with regards to our funding mechanisms and what we're trying to do. Our organization has been able to take advantage of government support, of subsidies. We have not been in a position where we've made any layoffs. We've been able to keep our staff safe and healthy. We've made extreme financial cuts in areas of non-spending. We've been able to put freezes on any new positions, but we've been able to keep everybody safe and healthy. We continue to operate the business with the intention of being able to support the provincial associations, and it is our hope and outlook that we'll be able to continue to support Golf New Brunswick in the similar fashion as we have in the past. Secondly, with regards to the question asked about membership, and I think coming from someone such as yourself, Peter, with such a contribution to Golf New Brunswick, not only in a governance position, but also in rules, is our membership has received even more focus than ever before. The last 3 years, closing in 2018, closing in the fiscal years 18, 19, and where we were headed in 20, was going to be our third year of actual membership growth. Not huge growth, but slight growth, and showing that we were coming back. I know that Tyson and his whole team, pronounced with Luke especially, has been working hard to try and figure out ways to continue to grow membership. And it's not easy. It's not easy in these economic times. So we encourage the team at Golf Canada and the team at Golf New Brunswick to lean in together to figure out ways that we can tune up the situation. We need more people contributing to the membership at each individual golf club and trying to turn around this slight downward arrow we have. I would highlight that there are more things packed into the snowball of Golf Canada membership than ever before. Incident protection for your clubs, for the golf carts, and for windows on course is just one part of it. We have new and improved offerings from our partners at Hilton Hotels and Avis. And as we return to normal travel, normalcy, maybe those things can be used. We have a new public membership campaign trying to get more members who are not currently members of Golf Canada from the public. We have a new app that will be updated. Obviously now, with trying to reduce touch points, you can do all your scoring as normal on the Golf Canada app. But coming in early summer will be an update in the Golf Canada app. This will include items such as GPS, such as tracer technology, such as gamification, being able to follow the games that you're playing with your colleagues and friends on your app. There's more being done at every stage of membership to make it more relevant and more applicable from a service perspective. So we hear your constructive criticism. We hear the feedback. I will tell you from a national perspective, golf was in a growing position in the last 2 years. This crisis has hit everyone hard. It is financially crushing for most of us on this call, and Golf Canada and Golf New Brunswick are not absolved of it. To lose the RBC Canadian Open was staggering, but we're already working hard on bringing it back in 2021 with more power than ever. Unfortunately, our other major international championships and even our national championships are under stress. We will have to reevaluate them at the end of this month to be able to really make educated decisions. I know you're feeling the same about the amateur championships at a provincial level and all events. I will say in closing that this is a moment to be creative. Be creative at your club with bringing people in. Be creative in recovering some of the revenue that you will lose at food and beverage into play on the golf course. How to do it properly, how to do it safely. Everyone is having this conversation at homes with your families, your friends, your colleagues to play again. Invite new people out. Get people reacclimated to what this spirit of golf is all about. It is an incredible sport, and I just listened to a really well-known sportscaster who said, I think golf is actually made for this crisis period. It is. It's the most normal all of us has felt. So I would encourage everyone, this is your chance to play. Bring people to the game. I wish you best of luck. I wish you a safe and healthy year. And I will say that all of us keeping up the protocols and keeping our guard up is going to keep golf safe. That's what we really need at this time. So on behalf of myself, our whole team at Golf Canada, and I'm honored to have Allison rejoining the board this year. We're just thrilled at where we see Golf New Brunswick going, and we're happy to be part of it. So thank you very much. And I hope to see you very soon in Fredericton with my family, and a little special wink to St. Andrews, probably my favorite place on the earth to be with friends and family as well. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. Appreciate your words. Luke, has there been any questions submitted for either Charlie or Lawrence at this time?
No, we haven't had any questions submitted in the chat. Does anyone like to take the moment to unmute themselves and ask anything, perhaps?
Hearing none, nobody has. Thank you very much to both Charlie and Lawrence. At this time, I would ask Jason Porter, the dresser, Golf New Brunswick Vice President, PGA Executive Professional, to introduce our next guest speaker.
Thanks, Judy. You didn't catch me off guard this time. I was ready for you. Our next guest is Lyndon Guerin. Lyndon has spent the majority of his life working in the golf industry and currently serves as the Executive Director of the PGA of Atlantic Canada. A member of the PGA of Canada since 1981, Lyndon has served as a General Manager at Glasgow Hills Resort and Golf Club in Prince Edward Island, Director of Golf Operations at the Algonquin in New Brunswick, and Head Professional at the Truro Golf Club in Nova Scotia. A native of Atlantic Canada, Lyndon is a graduate of Dalhousie University in Halifax and has served as President of both the PGA of Canada Atlantic Zone and the PGA of Canada National Board of Directors. A member of the PGA Atlantic Hall of Fame and the Ted Tickner Memorial Award for Prostate Cancer Awareness. Among others, Lyndon is dedicated to the continued development of his profession through improved membership and education programs. We'd like to thank Lyndon for joining us this evening. Without further delay, I will pass the microphone over to Lyndon.
Good to hear. Okay. Thank you, Jason. I knew you got dressed up for a reason, buddy. Thank you. Firstly, to Judy and Tyson for the invite. I think it's long overdue. I appreciate Lawrence's comments. It's great to see our industry get together in Atlantic Canada. As most of you know, we're a little different side of the business. I represent people employed, golf professionals who are employed in this industry. And it certainly directly affects them. For example, there's 56 PGA professionals in New Brunswick, and they represent about 25 golf clubs. And people like Adam Chamberlain, who's on the call, Jason Porter, who's on the call, are at some of our better golf clubs. And I think that, you know, for Tyson to open the door and create the opportunity to have expanded discussion is fantastic for our industry. It's fantastic for our associations. You know, Golf MB is the provincial sport organization. You're leading the way. You're leading the way for golf in New Brunswick. And if the PGA Atlantic can be part of that and help, we're all in. We have a number of people that are in a position to deliver programs such as Golf in Schools, Future Links, etc. And you know, I think that this will be the opportunity to expand on that. So maybe it's a bit of a blessing that this happened. Certainly, Lawrence, before your time, being involved in PGA of Canada Atlantic as the president, or PGA of Canada as the president, I was actively involved in NAGA. I truly believe that that was where we needed to be as an association, as a PGA, and more importantly, as an industry. And it's great to see that we've come together in this challenging time in Atlantic Canada, and to work with Tyson and David Campbell you know, and Greg Hillier in Newfoundland, and Joyce was stepping in for in the meantime in PEI. So it's been fantastic, and I think that a lot of things that we do in our industry speak directly to how we can work together. And I'm not going to have a big parade of discussion here. Certainly, what I will say, you know, that I reiterate what Lawrence said. Tyson Flynn deserves a lot of credit. Because of my involvement, not only in Atlantic Canada, but with my fellow executive directors across the country, I've seen how the work has happened across the country. And kudos to Tyson and Luke for staying on top of what we're going through. The regular updates, and that's not to take anything away from others. That absolutely not. But good on them for what they're doing. You know, I want to expand on what Lawrence said. I think this is a tremendous opportunity. Just talking with PGA professionals around Atlantic Canada, we've opened up with some open forum discussions. Jason's been part of that. Adam's been part of that. We're hearing that everybody is just plugged full. Like it's awesome. Like, when have we ever said that in our industry? Like, it's been a long time. I'm old enough to remember it, and Judy, you as well, dear. But and Judy and I go way back. I mean, it is a fantastic, fantastic opportunity. So if I can say one word, let's not mess it up. Let's not mess it up. We've got people coming to our sport for obvious reasons. Let's do a good job. And maybe this is what we've been looking for. And we all know through the last, 15, 20 years that we've been working very hard, and, questions come up all the time. Lawrence, you hear them. I hear them. We hear them nationally at the PGA, challenge revenues and so on. That's reality. And we have to work through that. And maybe this is the time. Maybe this is the time. And I certainly believe it is. And I just hear just a different flavor when we have discussions like we're having tonight. They're way more positive, and they should really be quite negative if you think about it. What we're going through, as human beings in our world today, it's just, we've never experienced this. Hopefully we never experience it again, but it's brought us all together, and we're celebrating successes. And I just look forward to further work with Golf NB. And I know Tyson and I've had some side chats, and we're committed. We're committed to work together. And as I said, the PGA professional can do a lot to support golf in New Brunswick, and Golf NB can do a lot to support the PGA professional in New Brunswick. And let's work towards that. And I thank you very much, Judy, and I thank Tyson. Long overdue and full marks. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. We do go back a little bit. Okay, Luke, has there been any questions submitted for Lyndon at this time?
There has not, no. Once again, if anyone has any questions for Lyndon at this point, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask away. The floor is yours for the time being.
Okay, moving on then, thank you. I now would like to ask Tyson Flynn, the Golf New Brunswick Executive Director, to provide a quick update on the recent Golf New Brunswick activities. The floor is yours, Tyson.
Thank you, Judy. And obviously, thank you very much to all of our guests for taking the time out of their busy schedules today. Back to Leslie to present our financial statements, and obviously to Charlie, Lawrence, and Lyndon for taking the time to come and speak to our partners, to our facilities, and our past presidents and volunteers. You taking the time to be here is a great benefit to us and a great benefit to our association. So thank you again. Thanks for pumping the tires as well. I don't know if they've ever been been so full. So I certainly appreciate the kind words and truly do appreciate the continued support and assistance for Golf NB, for myself, for Luke, for our volunteers and our clubs. A couple of very quick highlights. I think the entire room would have received my report and the report booklet that had gone out ahead of time. But I would like to, as Lyndon did, make special note of the Atlantic Allied Golf Associations and the work that's been done through that group. Lyndon, as Lyndon touched on, he and I have become fast friends, long acquaintances, but fast friends over the last 8 weeks or so. And I think we've done an awful lot of work. We've gotten an awful lot done. A couple of highlights is obviously with the support of our partners at the National Golf Club Owners Association, Atlantic Chapter, Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland Golf Associations, as well as the Atlantic Golf Superintendents Association. We've been able to hammer out an awful lot of information in a very short period of time. Going back to the industry statement on golf in Atlantic Canada, our general guidelines that we've put together for facilities, some guidelines around players and golfers, and as well as kind of our guidelines 2.0 that went out last week that we hope that everybody is finding value in. Additionally, along with support from Jeff Hutt, we've managed and taken on the task of having some reasonably frequent or reasonably regular meetings with our partners, with our clubs, just to check in to see how everybody's doing and be able to share best practices. Those activities were coordinated by Luke, and he's done an outstanding job in that regard. So I think all the kudos to him and all the thanks need to go to the hard work that Luke's put in contributing to the information distribution and dissemination to clubs, and as well through our social media channels. Obviously, 2020 is going to be a very different year. It's going to be one that has significant economic impacts, as have already been touched on. And the Executive Committee for Golf NB has already taken some steps to try and mitigate that to the best of our ability. Given the fact that, the nature of the golf business is we don't know what our revenues are until it gets pretty late in the game. So we've had to take some proactive steps, canceling obviously this meeting from a face-to-face standpoint, which we normally would have done a month ago, our spring tour, our men's 4-ball, ladies 4-ball, past President's Cup Interclub Challenge, as well as some of our face-to-face rules and handicap seminars. Obviously it's not going to be enough, but at the end of the day, it is a step in the right direction, and it's allowed us to stem the tide and be able to put ourselves in a position that we're able to continue offering programs and services that are critical to our businesses and critical to our partners. So news on the event front, we are in the final stages of being able to finalize some of our championship schedules, or what will be our final championship schedule for 2020. We are committed to doing whatever we can to name provincial champions in our key stroke play events. We will likely have to make some very difficult decisions around some of our other events, but please stay tuned for some of those updates moving forward, and we hope to have something early next week to be able to put out to everybody. We're currently working on some general guidelines and best practices that we'll be able to share with facilities around event management. Obviously, a lot of those will be implemented for Golf NB events and championships, as well as we'll be integrating some of the activities and a lot of the work that's already been done from a Golf Canada level, and Adam Helmer's work with Golf Canada around best practices for managing events and championships, and we'll certainly be passing that information on as it becomes available. Finally, and I guess still on the topic of money, our Golf NB invoicing protocols have changed slightly for 2020. Typically, membership invoices would have either gone out by now or been going out this week. Obviously, with the current situation and the global pandemic and I guess the uncertainty for facilities right now, we've kind of adjusted how we're going to do our invoicing for 2020. Clubs can expect somewhere in the first to second week of June to get the initial membership invoice for 2020. That invoice will include your facility fee, as well as 50% of the club's membership dues or individual membership dues that were purchased last year. The rationale for the 50 piece is really just under the understanding that clubs are in a cash flow situation as well. But Golf NB certainly needs some cash as well in order to be able to keep up and running and keep our programs and services coming. So we want to be respectful that clubs are in a difficult spot, but we also want to be in a position that we can start to generate a little bit of revenue from our side as well. We will follow that up with 2 separate invoices later on in the year, one at approximately 15th of August and one on November 1st that will kind of catch all the membership updates for the year of 2020. So just a quick highlight and a quick overview from that standpoint for facilities, so clubs can start to look for those invoices coming in early June. Obviously, we understand that times are still tight. Linda did mention that pretty well everyone's jam-packed, but that certainly doesn't mean that cash is readily available. So if there's ever any concerns around invoicing or membership dues or payments, obviously please reach out to me at any time. Golf MB is always happy to help. We're not in a position here to create hardships for our partners. We want to work with our partners, and we're more than happy to create any sort of arrangements possible. Just simply feel free to reach out to us at any time. Lastly, in closing, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to come tonight to take part in this meeting. Obviously, we're still working through a little bit of kinks, but I think all in all, things have gone very well. Again, a big thank you to Lawrence, Charlie, and Lyndon and Leslie for taking their time to speak tonight. I think there's been some excellent information and some great sharing, and we look forward to continuing to work with everybody now and in the future. So thank you. Unless there's any questions, I would pass it back to Judy.
Do you want to have any questions for Tyson, please?
There is one question in the chat, Judy, from April James, just regarding Aroostook Valley and possibly sharing an update with the group about the situation there. So April, if you'd like to say a few words, you're more than welcome to at this time.
I would. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I guess ABC is the one exception to the statement that all Canadians are back playing golf, because no Canadians are playing golf at Aroostook Valley. You may have read about our unique situation. Our American members are playing, but until the border reopens, there will be no Canadians on the course. We have special arrangements for Steve, our pro, and our maintenance staff, who are also Canadian, to get across the border and come back every day without isolating for 2 weeks. So we have made some progress, but we don't see any resolution to this in the near future. One of the things I would like to do is I'd like to thank the New Brunswick courses. I know that Hampton, St. George, St. Stephen have reached out to us, to the Canadian members at AVCC, and offered us some opportunities to golf at their course. And we really appreciate that. So thanks very much. I don't know if anybody has any questions, but anyway, we're looking for somewhere to play. We've got 90 Canadian members who aren't playing.
That's a tough situation that Aroostook Valley is in. It's a beautiful course. The course itself is in Canada, but in order to get to it, we have to cross the border. And there'll be some work done before that happens. And we really feel for the club as well and for the members.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
One of the things that Steve did put out, and I know I forwarded on to a lot of my friends and myself and several others, they put out a package that is green fees for 10 rounds, including a cart for $400 Canadian, good for both this year and next year. And we're trying to support the club as best we can. So I think quite a few people have purchased that. If we can't use it this year, at least it'll help them get through the year. And once we get up there, we'll have to drink and eat a lot. But, you know, if that can be passed on, a lot of people, and you can share it. So some people have purchased a package of the 10 rounds and they're sharing with the so it helps Aroostook. It's a great golf course. It's just up a little ways north of us, and a lot of us from Covered Bridge love to play there a lot, but can't sneak through the woods. So anyway, just so if anybody knows of anybody that's interested in buying that package, please do so. Help out the club.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other comments or anyone like to make? Tom?
Yes, April, I just want to say that I can fully understand what's happening with you. We're on the other side. Our Canadian members are playing, but our American members can't get here. And until the ferry starts in another month or whatever, we can't go anyplace else to play. So we've got a nice private course going on right here.
I'm sure the Americans feel that way about us.
Thank you, Tom. Any further questions or any other comments from anybody else? Any questions for Tyson? Any others? Hearing none. Moving on to the end of this evening's session. I just want again to thank our very special guests, Charlie, Lawrence, Lyndon, and Leslie, for your input and your kind words for the evening. We wish you all the very best in your endeavors as well with Golf Canada and with everything that you do, okay? Also at this time, I want to thank the members of Golf New Brunswick Executive. Really appreciate your continued contributions to our meetings, our organizations, and thank you for that. Again, we have praised Tyson and Luke for the work that they have done and continue to do. We want to thank them for everything they do. I failed to mention that one of the guests on here today too is Jeff Hutt. Jeff is now with Golf Canada, and he's our liaison, and we appreciate the work that Jeff does for us as well. And Barry Gorley, thank you. We miss you here in the office, but we'll see you on the golf course, and then hopefully some instructions coming my way. And but most of all, I want to thank each and every one of you representatives of the golf clubs here in our province. It's very important for us to communicate with one another. It's very important for us to stay in touch with one another. And we appreciate the work that you are doing. And I really hope to see a lot of you at the different, or see myself at a lot of the courses this summer as well. Wishing all the courses out there the very best. Hopefully you'll have lots of green grass growing and lots of the green coming in to your tills. So thank you very much. And in closing, always take care, stay safe.